Hello, hello. Good time of day, everyone. Kind of an eventful day for me. But beyond that, let me hit the magic button. Bam. So, in other news, I forgot to make model for yesterday. Which means I also have to make a model tomorrow and figure out what the heck I'm doing on Saturday. But just to show where we are, this is a little thing that I've been making. If it'll launch. Helps if I hit the enter key. Changed a few things on here. This is a normal guy, so if I cautious attack him, I should deal double damage. I should probably put an integrator on there now. Yeah, really busy. Well, things that... Oops. No, I overthink what I do for streams anyways. We'll have to see if I can carry on doing something like this. I think giving myself a day in between actually helps out because I do need to look at other stuff, but anyways. Oh yeah, learned ultimate skill so I can cheat now. What we have right now is the most bare bones of a quote-unquote functional game. I have test assets for everything. I have a basic combat and skill system. You know, at this point, I could just put in a rectangle that is, you know, like semi-opaque, like a gray color that just, like, you know, goes over this. One second. Let me do something real quick before I go on about that. Go into other things. Because right now there is no good look or feel going on in this. This is pure, unadulterated test stuff. Let me go into here, render background, render combat choice, which turns off if you don't if the enemy doesn't have HP. This should be times 8. Because I am using an 8 pixel font, not a 16 pixel font. It's a coin flip depending on which one I have, because I don't have a 32 pixel font. Which would probably look nice. How does that look now? Yeah, that's what it looks like. And I could do something like having the SB cost be over here and be in the correct color, yada yada, so on and so forth. And maybe actually put this like midway on the screen. I think that would look nice. I mean, it'd be graying over the enemy and such, but that means it's more important than the enemy right then and there. The only issue is that, like, you don't see the enemy in full. The only alternative is I make a 4 pixel font, which won't work. Just not happening. Could also just have it go over the bottom. One second, I'm going to bring this up quickly. Let me get distracted by everything. Dragon Quest Nest Combat. I don't see anyone picking a spell. And I'm not about to figure out anything to run this. Lord knows there's enough ways to get in here, but is this on top? Sure. Like, this is Dragon Quest. This is the square that's ultimately cared about. And how they did it was that they would put on top of this the commands that come in. And be like, you know, attack, da da da, whatever, or it's on the side here. Something like that. But anyways, I need to figure that out. Right now, it does not matter in the slightest. Might matter more if I have to figure out how enemy and stuff is going to look. Possibly could increase the size a little bit of the screen, because I think I have it in nest size right now, which I like. It's probably terrible for streaming. But it is the style I'm going for. No, anyways, beyond that, let me get to actual stuff that I had up. Right now, we are in this stage. gameplay. Today I'm going to try and add some equipment in the quickest and dirtiest way possible. I mean, I quick and dirtied an entire combat mechanic system with the quasi rock, paper, scissors stuff. A crumb of plot, which might need to get a little involved later on, and that will be triggered by, well, event triggers in the dungeon, or continuing thing, because I want to really have it be the Diablo thing, which is... I mean, granted, I say Diablo, it's like the traditional mega dungeon setup where Diablo literally had in its book. Oops. Doop. You know, all the layers, then it... add the rest of the land here. You know, you have the fountain. You have the inn. Dungeon. Town. You walk over into the dungeon and go down. I'm not sure if I'm going to have the top level be like an Etrian Odyssey, or which is probably honestly just wizardry. Type system where you go up and you menu through to get all your equipment and rest up and, you know, ask about rumors, which always turn out to be true. Which is the funniest thing in video games, I might add. This is on top, this is on top. Okay. Funniest thing in video games is that all NPC rumors are true. They don't have red herrings because they confuse players. And I remember specifically, I never played Lunar Silver Story. But I know at least one of the versions, either in its original writing or translation, said go east to the town, and if you keep going like east, like you just, you know, barrel that way, you end up in a place that gets you killed. And it was supposed to be like go north, and like you have to take a few steps east and then go north or something. It's weird and not actually the way you should go, and I think somebody said that it was more realistic or something to give, yeah, or more realistic to give like where to go, or give things that are not exactly correct or whatever. But I think that was either a mistranslation or cope, or just like somebody put it in there bad, because you will find that like no game except for tabletop games actually put in rumors that are false. Anyways, why I bring this up, not sure if this is going to be something that you can actually walk in, because I would have to put in a lot more assets for it than what I currently have if I do it, or have it be menu based. But anyways, the main thing that's going to kill me is asset fill. This always is the death of my games, and why I do everything in 7-day roguelikes, because it's like you just stop putting stuff in. Well, there's plot things, and then there's directional things. Like when I say there's like rumors, it's like something you're going to seek out. Like if, oh yeah, that's kind of true in the Souls one. But I'm just saying, like, if somebody on the street tells you there's a golden idol, there's a golden like statue that grants people wishes, that's going to come up as a plot point later. So you don't go and search it forever. Or it's going to come up that they're lying to get people to go into the woods in order to capture them and do stuff. But it's always something. It's not a nothing. Like, if you come across an NPC that says, wow, the fairies in the woods, like, abduct people every once in a while, and you go out into the woods and there's no fairies or fae type, you have no quest line that deals with that, that either becomes something that somebody makes a crackpot theory on YouTube of why they included it, or was just a lot of, or like you just don't see it happen. I can't think of any game that has something as big where like they drop it in there and it has nothing. It's like the Shockov's gun doesn't go off. The only time I could think of that happening is a few games where it's cut content, where they're going to plan to have that, and they drop it. But, yeah, one thing also of this is that I have to have, like, at least 4 different sprites for this, because I have the whole programmer art, though all of my stuff is technically programmer art, of it can do anything. Oh, it's going to do a normal attack. Oh, it's defending. Oh, powerful attack, because this game's based off that. Tile variants, I might only do like 4 or 5 layers. Do the classic, like 20 level dungeon or something, or 25, 26. And enemies is going back into assets and filling them and making AI logic, which I already have the basis for. It's just chunking it in, which kind of sucks, but it's what you do. Now anyways, today I wanted to add basic weapons and items. Boom. Do I have an item class already? I probably do. Okay. This isn't going to work at the moment unless I want to do the item. Okay. Then okay a lot. Okay then. With skills, I went with just creating these so I can have it in one list. The other alternative is making a list that I go through and lines up with an enum, which isn't the best, but I can do it. I might copy this formality because items will have their own various things on there. Okay, I'm going to go over all the ways that you could possibly make an item, or make... Let's just go with weapons in this case. This is the thing that is a pain in the butt, is you have to make the architecture right, or because everything falls apart later. And no matter what you do, it's going to be bad. The difference between bad code and good code is that bad code is a problem in 6 months, and good code is a problem in 8. So, ID only. When I say ID only with the enums, that means a million functions Oh, that's actually from... Oh, I can't remember the guy's name. He does a series of various things poking at it, but yeah, at this point I believe it. Like, all code is a liability at the end of the day. There's a concept called technical debt, which everything you make, you have to support. So even if it's good code, it might be outdated in 8 months and you have to redo it. Or you should redo it and you make patchwork, because the most permanent code is the temporary solution you make in order to give yourself time. Anyways, ID only. The plus on it is that pass only ints around. The one minus on it is that struct minus. This is what we're doing for skills, but due to how skills work, we aren't passing them around and watch. Have to do the item swaps. Now this is what causes items to duplicate a lot of the time, or to have weird interactions, because you have to take all the data from one, put it somewhere, swap the other one in, and then put the data from the other one into the other location. Technically, you have to do it with IDs too, But there's less problems that happen when you're like swapping structs around. Because you can do that in crappy ways. You can also do it int swapping in crappy ways, but plus get to have variants. What I mean by variants is +2 sword. I could hard code it so that a +2 sword is always in existence, but with items like this, you can add modifiers to them because it's basically a stat sheet at that point. Now, the one where it gets fun is hybrid system. ID has base stats. Oops, hit wrong button. Plus, all modifiable things are in strut. Minus gain all problems with both. Oh, there should be a... There shouldn't be an N in there. There, now there isn't. I've done all these. I am very partial to IDs. But for sake of it being a fantasy sort of game, I'd like to add a +1 to the sword. That's fun to me. Or to, like, you have a sword and you get a scroll of enchant flame burst or something. That's fun to me. So I think I'm going to go to having a struct system. And technically, when I say that you have a million functions that you have to pass everything to, you'll have one giant function where you pass the additional ID to generate it, which sucks. But there's no getting around that. You have to have that. It's just you split it out to several, to every single possible thing, or do you do like? Oh, actually, no. Let me take a screenshot of this. Diablo decompilation. Come on. There we go. So, unironically, some of my style is based around knowing this exists. There we go. Monsters C. Would it be in Monsters CC or would it be in DAT? I think it's in the... Whoops. Either in the header, because you could statically set these up. Okay, nope, it's just in monster.dat.c. So, in the decompilation that they have made, because they looked at the thing and then they figured out how to do stuff, because technically everything is open source once you learn how to decompile stuff. Look upon it. This is where you take the idea of an ID-based system and just put it into a data structure raw in code. Nowadays, you'd probably farm it out somewhere else so you don't have to compile it every time you make a little tweak to monsters or something. But this has all the data for all the monsters and like what files it uses and what things it does and all the other crap. I've done this once. It is so... There's a disturbing beauty about it. But every single one of them has every single range, all its statistics, and it is just a giant array you don't care about. And you have this as like a, is this just an integer struct? Okay, it's a monster data struct. So, let me break open the monster data. Also, you'll see at the top the all.h. And that is the thing that has... Oh, okay, that's an all, isn't it? One second. That is the thing that has really changed everything, because I wouldn't have my programming style if I didn't make it this way to begin with. Because I realized you could put everything into a header file and call it a day. So I put everything into a header file, and I called it a day. Even when I shouldn't. I'm trying to find where the prototype for monster data is. We have monster struct that is type monster. I'm not going to hunt it. But all that means is that you could probably just... It probably is literally these things up here that they have it set as. And you just do a dot that once you call in the ID number that you know is the monster. And you have to keep those lockstepped, which kind of sucks. But as I said, it's going to suck for everything you do. There's no good choice. And everything is... everything weighs around your neck. So you pick whichever one you want to work with that day. And today, I'm working with these. Now, all my code was set up for roguelikes, so I don't need a lot of this stuff. And I specifically took out clean inventory because this might change at any second. I should have also taken that out. Oh man. Yeah, this is also to look at an item sheet. And then I just kind of, I could manually do it, or other things. But what I want to have is a structure that can at least have some basic enchantments. So, I'm having the ID because I'm going to use that and just get the string and description that way. I won't update it in the list because it'll take up memory. Do I really care that it takes up memory? You're a modern machine. A little bit. One second. I'll just fix that up. One thing I think I did do with this... Yeah, that position's going to kill me. I'll be cleaning up this code, but I'll be talking about it. So anyways, we got value, which is probably, it's going to be like a default value. I'm just going to go off of probably basic Dragon Quest setup. So it's either going to be like attack or defense based on if it's a weapon or not. We are going to have a flag for enchantment. Basic enchantment. Anything else I should put on there? I don't think I'm going to do it the Dragon Quest way of equipping. The Dragon Quest way of equipping is that you have X slots, and you say, this is equipped. So it still sits in your bag, taking up one of your slots. But, it's kind of a pain in the butt. Now that said, let me go in here. I don't need to do it like this. I have learned my ways, and a blank will blank. Okay, also I need to have in here I'll have name in here because calling name is going to be something that comes up a lot. You know, it goes through the list. Getting the description will be a little bit different. And even then, that means I can have things that are these... Well, no. Actually, technically, very technically, I can update the name so that it can be like... The basic enchantment is factored into it too, and it updates it so it can be a flame brand +1. And that's just on there, and then I just have a system to unparse that so that I can reparse it and do the stuff. Or I just do it on the fly. Whatever. It does not matter. So we got that junk in there. Oh, you survived that. Well, oh, because 0, 0, 0, 0. Yeah, yeah. Whoop. I've learned since then. I can just do this. I believe. Or is it only on initialization? I think it might only be on initialization, so I should do this properly. And this is just housekeeping, because this is code that was not made for this. I am just making it work. We don't have an inventory set up yet, so I'm not going to do anything with that. Do I want to have locations on items? I think I want to have a location on items. That might be fun because I could drop them in dungeons. And that might be simple for allowing me to be able to set up chests in dungeons so that I could just copy in the item information and you could save that out to a file. It'll be the same thing. Okay, we're doing it. Item, or int position. And I think somewhere in the attribute flags, I'm going to just have it be like treasure chest. That might do stuff. I can also add other like events to it, like have a literal item that is chest trap. Cool. Now it's yelling at me because it needs to have that 0 there. That's fixed. So index. That's fine. ID, value. Then we have an attribute flag. That, then location. I'll rework that. Let me just kind of nuke these. That, however, will probably be useful. Nah, nuke it all. Okay, let's see how much code yells at me for clearing all that. Actually, let's see if it compiles. Okay, it's fine. So, going to get this into the header. Let's see if items is being loaded in. Make sure this is once. Okay. It's got everything. Is it going to yell at me if I try to compile it? Don't think I need grid in this. Don't think I need sprite render in this. I'm not doing that anymore in here. I'm creating a dependency cycle it doesn't like. Good. Now it's just a stupid data class, so it doesn't need to create cycles. Now then, I can go back here, all the way down to the bottom. I have a bunch of player information. Now, I almost at this point think I should move this over to its own header. Almost. I would need to include this other stuff and import it in there and yada yada yada, and this stuff as well. It can leave here till I'm tired of it. But anyways, item, player, main weapon. I'll just call it weapon. I won't do the stupid stuff of... Is that what it's called? Problem with constantly never... Item none. No, that's not it. Null item. We'll put it in there for now. Item, player, armor. We'll make other things. But we have to have it cope with this right now. So we have this. Let's go back to top level because that's where I do all the fun stuff. Now then. Base power. Then plus player, or no, player weapon dot value. And this is the quick way to get in there. Once we want to start doing a little bit of variant, it'd be like plus or minus 16%. That's the Dragon Quest way. And it's good enough for those grinding games. It's good enough for me. I haven't looked up modern Dragon Quest games. Okay, it didn't do much. So then, I'm going to make the ultimate weapon, the Test Blade. And you're going to have an ID value of -1, so you're going to be a test item. You're going to have a value of 20, so when I select normal attack, it's going to be 30. Well, actually, they'll kill. 10. 0, 0, 0. Test Blade. Now that I have the Test Blade, I can go over here. No, wait, that would be in a constructor. What am I thinking? All my attacks should do 10 more damage. Smack. So, normal attack will do... It's guarding, so it'll only be effective towards me. There we go, 20 damage. And I took 10 damage because it was dealing 5 damage, but I chose a normal attack, and cautious attacks have advantage on normal attacks. I mean, I think the last games were well received. I played a bit of it, but I just got lost in doing something else. But I got pretty far, I got a decent ways in. And then I think they tried to do like an MMO for a bit. Which is... You're not getting the MMO audience from Final Fantasy. Oh, it was also, they did DS ones. They did like some weird 3DS ones, and yeah, I don't know. They did a remake for the for one that I think the game on the 3DS acts like a old school one, or maybe it was something to switch between them. It's been a while. I haven't looked deeply, but I think a new one should be coming out in a bit. They've been mostly pushing out the remaster stuff, which is just, you know, I can't comment on because it... Well, actually, no. I can comment on Dragon Quest 1. Ooh, that was a real difference. Because I tried to, like, Lennox, Space Captain Lennox was playing it. I managed to catch a little bit of it. I did make a sprite model for him based off that. Off of Dragon Quest style, but... Oh, yeah, the builders? Yeah. It's interesting they go with that. But, so, the old Dragon Quest is very much, oh, you have an attack, and the whole idea of the game is just like, it's effectively an overworld crawl plus a dungeon crawl. There's a lot of crawling, because you have to figure out if you have enough power to get to the next town, or to the next dungeon location, or through the dungeon. And that's how the game is set up. The new one, they added a lot more NPCs. You don't get any in your party. You're a man that you see, like, the intro is pretty much 5 warriors get ambushed by slimes and almost die. Then you walk in and just slaughter them all in a group. And that puts it into focus how powerful the hero is for no apparent reason besides, you know, being the chosen one. And it's quite interesting compared to the old one where you legit might have to retreat if you fight a she slime too early. Anyways. So I have Test Blade. You know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to start making armor. So, in order to start having armor, I have to go back at top level. I might have to make a combat class that this inherits. I just might have to. Because this is getting overbloated. The whole point of the top level thing is that all my control stuff in Heartbeat calls into this to do stuff. Because I don't want to mix those two up because it gets too big too fast. I'm abstracting all the logic out of there into this. So this has all the simple stuff that needs to be updated and all that. You know, let's move. This is stupid, but I'm moving scrolls to instruction header because I never need to look at them again. That can be called by anything. It doesn't need to be in top level, and it might be in item stuff later. Yada yada. Yeah, old DQ was brutal. And then the updated one, like that they had for the Game Boy Color and all that, they're like, we should have the hero level up a little faster and give him a little more health. And like every iteration of the game, it's like, yeah, we need to give him a little more attack and a little more health. It's like the first game of it, so it's understandable why it's kind of a weird grindy mess. But it has a charm to it. Where was I? Okay, I wanted to look into attack damage. So we have basic player attack, damage entity. Okay. So if index equals 0, player 0, whatever. No, I'm making that. Why am I doing this? Because if at any point I forget what I'm doing, I will have to look it up. Player index equals 0. I could do that in fancier ways. I'm too far around that. So we'll have this. Else. So damage minus equals player armor dot value divided by 2. Cool enough? Cool enough. I could add other things. Like given that we have the system set up, we can make armor that's more effective against normal attacks or more effective against defensive attacks. We could do all the silliness we want, and that would go in here. But for now, we're not doing anything. And like enemy stuff is going to be determined by this. If I really wanted to be cheap about it, damage minus equals entity list index.id times 2. That is a classic way, or entity type times 2, to have actually, let's just go minus 1. A classic way to scale your enemies without thinking about it that hard. Dragon Quest and the rest of them hand did it. Final Fantasy 1 hand did it because they had to, copy all the monsters out of the Advanced D&D module, or Advanced D&D monster manual. So they had all that information on there. But now we have a very basic thing. I want to see if it breaks if I have a 0 in there. Oh no, it shouldn't break because it's not divided by 0. Oh, this will be fine. Hit me. You're going to hit me with anything. So I used a cautious attack. I took 5 damage. I used a cautious attack, or against it. I have plus 10. So Slime took 16 damage. So I was doing 20 damage against it. Something's up for a second. I'm seeing bugs, aren't I? So if I do cautious, it did it did like a 20 damage. So, oh, wait, it's doing 5 damage plus 10 damage plus 1 damage. Yeah, I messed up something here. That should have been at times. Okay. That should be a 0, though. Unless Slime's like number 2 for no reason. But it's good enough for right now. Yeah. Oh, wait, it was a normal attack. So I did a bunch of damage to it. Okay, one second. Can we find something I do neutral with cautious against? Okay, I did 28 because it was doing neutral. Just die. Can we get a cowardly slime? For the love of God, please. Okay. So I did 10 damage, or I did 5 damage with the base skill. I do 10 more with the sword, then -2 because it's index 1. Yeah, that's all working fine. I had some weird math in there because I was minus equaling a negative thing, so it was boosting damage. Something better. Most temporary solution will be the permanent one, though. We know it. So, the funny thing here, because of the way these work, I can put this in any slot and it'll function. You know the old Final Fantasies where you had glitches about equipping drills to head slots and everything works out fine? Same reason. So now we should be taking 10 less damage. Okay, we got this. I don't want to kill it. Okay, so it's going to be doing 60 damage incoming to me. Or no, 20 damage incoming to me. Is this right? Let me double check on the skills. So, yep, 20 damage incoming to me. It has no boost on it. I have the sword on, which is 10 defense value, which decreases it by 5 because divides defense by 2. I think that's all working out. Yeah, that looks about right. Now let's hop back into Hiss. Technically, this should be divide 2, and armor should be divide 4. Let's go with the standard. Excuse me for 1 second. Be right back. Alright, I am back. Boop boop. Why does it want to say that? Eyes closed. Anyways. Camera tracking aside. So we have basic setup. Now then, how we're going to work with things. So we already have a skill inventory pretty much set up. Let me get back into construction header. So we have skills set up. Int max player item. Player item list. Max player item. And I'm just going to instantiate it as 0, and that should be counted as 0. Now that I have, I'm going to move you down here just so you're next to this junk. All right. So currently in non-combat, we have a divide between in combat and out of combat. We should probably extract this a little bit away from this, but I am going to introduce something else, though. Down here. And it is going to be enum out of combat system. It's going to have system none. Why are you here / animation junk? It's going to have system move, system inventory, and then I'll add things such as shop system, teleport, dungeon, quick travel, dialogue, and so forth. And we will have current non-battle system equals system we cool? Oh. We not cool because you need a semicolon there. Can I not spell? I cannot spell. Very surprising. Now we're happy. I don't need to compile it yet because it doesn't do anything. We're on our way back here. This that should probably move into its own thing, but I'm not right now because I am lazy. Else if system inventory do other things. I mean, I could include combat in this thing, but we have a very succinct way of knowing if we're in combat, because the enemy has health. But I will make this. Inventory player input. in player input, because I will misspell inventory later, and I must realize my weaknesses and avoid doing them. So this is going to be the same sort of thing. Waha. Literally the same code. We are making the code. This is not dry code. This is as wet as your drink next to you, unless you drink heavy water. Is thick water wet? Is it more wet than normal water or less wet than normal water? Thick water being the medical drink that they use for people that have weakened throat muscles and esophagus muscles due to like disease or disability. Is that technically less wet than normal water? Basically, they add a little bit of something to thicken it. Is soup wetter? It's like a nice thick soup. Less wet than normal water. This is truly a philosophical question. Anyways, don't look at this. Max, player item. Don't look at the disgusting, awful player item select. This does not need to be involved. Why? Because sometimes you might want to select a location to put an item in. So it might need to select something that's empty. Anyway, continuing on with the disgusting, awful code. And like that. Okay, we need to have a display of it. Oh look, there's something called combat display. We're totally not going to rip off that code and do the same thing over again, but replacing variables with other variables. No, that'd be ugly and disgusting, and who would do that? And okay, there it is. Be better if I actually had code that in this case is kind of warranted, because these are going to be completely different. So I don't need this. Max player item. Player item list. I don't know why I made that capital. Oh well. And player item select. Should that? No, yeah, it should be it shouldn't be capital, but it's going to be like that. Anyways, render player inventory. This allows it to be reused more, because if I have like something that says like, where do you want to put the item? What item do you want to swap? What item do you want to equip? All the code's the same. It's just the code on top that it's being called into is slightly different. I've done this before. You've seen in the 7-day roguelike where I have a render system that can be run at any point from any part of the code, and I could just loop on that all day long until they say yes or no. So anyways, we get back down to render map or background. Oh, no. Oh, wrong one. Wrong one. My bad. I should really delete that. Background, that's what we call it. Here we will have switch. Current system case. system inventory, and we will render the background. Awesome. That way I can add more stuff and they can render their particular things. Once again, if I have combat, I can put that in there. But technically there's going to need to be a way to use items, which will probably be its own thing. Yada yada, yada yada, yada yada. Anyways. And we also need to have something in here that is else if main controller dot cancel. We are going to break out of this by having current non-battle system equals map, system map, or system move, I think it was called. Cool. Now how do we get into there? Good question. Which is going to be, I'm going to put right at the bottom of this disgusting little list, an else if. Okay, cool, I already have it as an else if. Non-combat equals system inventory. Now then, I hit the magic compile button. I hit cancel. Awesome. Not displaying. So this is showing up. This is showing up. Oh, we don't have any items in our inventory. Actually, that's what's doing it. Oh, you didn't like that. Oh, that's interesting. I need to fix that up. There's something a bit buggy there. It should go, actually, it should go all the way down, but I couldn't go up or down what's on the second one. Ooh, we have disgusting bugs we have to squish. Yeah, I have items of 8. It shouldn't be, like, all iffy on that. Player item select. Ah, that's what's doing it. I forgot to swap out combat. So it's always going to be less or equal to that. So let's try this again. ASMR of nothing working. Cool beans. Player item select. Oh! That's why. Because the old one was based off not being able to select an empty square, because, you know, I mean, like, the skills are always going to be there, and they should always be there. So it's doing a full loop on that. Mea culpa. Maya bada. Now I can, you know, go all the way around. And then I can go back into this. And then I can't hit cancel to get in there. But I can keep hitting A to get into that. So from this menu on accept, I can have stuff that pops up and goes like, hey, do you want to swap weapons? Or just have it auto-equip that. You know what? Let's do the auto-equip. I'm just thinking for a second. Okay. So, you can also have stuff like it pops up, like, hey, you currently have this equipped, and do all the little quality of life showing you changing your equipment from a 3 attack to 4 attack. Ooh. Really moving up there in the world. So for now, where's my item? There's my item. Now, for testing purposes, test sword. Weapon test. Test blade, because of course I make everything hard for myself. Elsive, main control dot action, blah blah blah. 3200 equals 1. Oh, of course. Use inventory item player item select. And then once again, in top level, we will have the actual logic behind it, because this is just controlling and displaying. This over here is where all the meat is. And I should be starting to farm stuff out into combat and non-combat, but I am lazy. Is use item, potion, scroll, other. It's armor item. Swap. Current armor. Is weapon item. Swap inventory. Swap weapon. And this was going to be int slot. So all I'm doing right now is just doing it for this one. Swap, or void swap weapon. Void means it doesn't return anything, so it doesn't set up any memory for it to place what it works on. Keeps it a little less bloated if you don't have to do that. Void swap item, item A, item B. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a proper way to do this in the code. Right now, do I care? No. And I'm just going to copy this down. Awesome. Because both of them are going to be items and they're going to be stored in memory, so therefore if I just swap the internal values, they swap. There's no difference. This is what I meant, that it's somewhat of a pain in the butt to do swaps, and when I was discussing this earlier. But here we are. Position doesn't really matter, but you still need to do it. Okay, now that I have that, B... Oh, would you look at that? Magic. B dot. This should be back the other way around. Yeah, I'm already storing A. In Python, I could do terrible, ugly things and just write inline swaps, but I have to keep the third variable around for these ones. Okay, now that I have A as B, we need to make B A, and we stored A up in the original one, so I just need to get rid of all the value location, or the reference part, because these are variables in the scope, therefore copy on over. Cool. Now let's go back in here, swap weapon. So this is going to be player, or is it just item list? Player item list, slot, player weapon. All we need to do. If I need to do any other fancy thing like, oh no, thou has a cursed weapon. Haha, you can't swap. We'll go on. Anyways, compile it. So I'm going to check to see if I do the right amount of damage. So I do a cautious attack against this normal. It's going to do 10 damage minus 2, so it should do 8. Yep, 8 damage. I need to really fix up these fonts. Anyway, just smash through that. Anyway. Interesting. Wait, do I have two inventories going on? I just realized that. No, player item list. That is exactly where it should be. Oh, no. So I'm just checking to see player weapon, and we'll see if that is firing. And well, I will see. I don't have my console out because that'd be dumb. Yeah, it's not swapping them. Interesting. Should be an easy fix. He says that he's probably going to cry for the next 2 hours. So we have swap item, player item. Okay, so we get in here. Is this going to be weird pointer stuff? Because I've done this before and it shouldn't care. Or is it only passing over a memory thing? I think it's only passing over memory. Okay, let's get this right. We update the original struct. Oh wait, no. Is it like this? I don't program C. He says as he works in C. I think that's the way to do it. Stupid memory locations. Wait, 1 second. Wait. Swapping items. Swap called. Okay, so it gets in here. Oh, it didn't compile. That's why. This is why I do stuff. I don't do stuff like this. Okay. Oop. Is this supposed to be like this? That takes it. That says it's taking in a pointer to that location. Now over here, it's going to yell at me because these are not pointers. But the ampersand dereferences them to pointers. So now, instead of just copying over the data into there, which is not being updated at the other end, it's actually copying over... I didn't want to do this. Now we get into the funny stuff of pointers, references, because when it's a pointer, you have to use this symbolic shut up, which is why you will see me avoid at all costs doing silly pointer stuff and just referencing everything by index. So I don't have to go through what is the proper way to do this today. But this prompt one kind of needs to be done because it's going to make swapping anything else later easier. Swapping off the floor, swapping weapons. It doesn't care. All it cares about is that the memory is congruent to being... Well, actually, it doesn't care that the memory is congruent. It's C++. It does not care. It will move your stuff, and what it actually is be damned. This is a subtle bug, isn't it? So we come in here, we move A to here. A's name is A name. B's name is B name. Bop. Okay, cool. Now, I'm going to be mad if it swaps over here. But it isn't reflected in the other stuff. Because that can happen. As I was saying, it copies the memory location, but not the actual... There's no other stuff being moved around. Okay, open this up. Yeah, nothing got moved. Weird. I am this close to, just hard coding stuff, but I'd like to do it correctly. Oh, wait. This is why. But it should be blanking out everything. Like, A should be getting bodied and, like, changing stuff. Oh. I want to do a little Google. C++ setting a pointer referenced struct variable. Is there some weird thing that I just don't know about? Because, as I said, I avoid this because it gets complicated for no reason. Every other language has kind of evolved past that, but... Very. Should be working. Passing a struct into a function. I'm updating it, right? Being passed in there. Am I doing something silly over here? Actually, let's do one last test. So what I'm going to do... Player weapon is... -1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you happy with that? You're happy with that. So if I see on the back end, okay, I am seeing that. Oh, it's swapped now. Ooh. Okay, maybe I just... Okay, cool. Everything's fine. Except I can't exit out of this because I disabled something? I was able to get out before. Technically, it should go right back in. But... Cool. Okay, let's make sure. In later things, I'll have a way to identify if it's a weapon, item, or whatnot. Normal attack. I took 0 damage. So I attacked. Normal attack used. That's interesting. Okay. So now I deal more damage. It used... Yeah, okay, I can swap. Cool. A little iffy, but I got there. Now then. What I need to do, maybe I do it off stream, I don't know, is that I need to start figuring out how to differentiate these. Usually when I do this crap, I just keep the list in an order of like weapons, armor, and then potions. And then I have literally a placeholder between them so that I can just search to see if its ID is within the range, it knows what it is. Because for potions, I don't need to do a lot. I just need to, you know, or the items that are used outside of combat, I just need to reference their ID at the end of the day. The weapons, I just need to know they're in the range and then put them in the hand. The armor, I would just need to do similar, just need to see that it's a armor and then do the swap that way. So I don't know exactly what I screwed up before in doing the switching, but it's fine now. Don't worry about it. It should work in all cases that I pass in by reference, the pointer. Any sort of item, so I can pick them up off the floor, which allows me to do the interesting floor things that I was thinking of. What I mean by that... So right now, we view an 8x8 or a 3x3 square. We only bother rendering walls on 8 of these. Technically, we're here. We pretend that we cut in half this one and this one. So what I'm thinking of doing is I have a sprite for like a bag. Like I could do this so that like when an enemy dies, it could drop like one item. Maybe it could drop multiple because I could put them all, superposition them. So like you'd have a big sprite up here, smaller, and then smaller. And I could just move them between these. And then also I can have a flag that is like, oh, this is a chest item that is like spawned when you come in. So very technically, the dungeon is storage. And I could just match the floor size, and like I could save out to a file the structs. I'm going to have a heck of a time doing that, but right now we're doing it all in raw memory, so who cares? And all that needs to be done is when you drop an item, it then checks to see like, hey, is there an item here? It's like, no, don't bother showing the sprite. Is there an item here? Yes, show the sprite that's like 2 away. And then so on and so forth. With the closer ones being bigger, so if you're like right next to an item, I guess I put it like off to the side. Or maybe I put it like halfway in or something like, it might be a little weird, but it'll work. Same with chests. I'll figure out something. Well then, I don't want to go for another hour or so. So this is going to be a relatively quick stream. I don't know what I'm doing Saturday. Probably some art. I'll figure out something and I'll actually do my standard post up there if I'm doing like a fan sprite or something, but yeah, I don't know yet, because usually I try to think of it by Wednesday, and my Wednesday was taken up by having this on my plate, which is really strange, because I would think I would be able to do everything. But it turns out when I plan ahead more than one day a week, kind of falls apart. Anyways. So, back on the major list. Gameplay slightly up. Need to do it for armor, but I need to get a list of armor and weapons. Maybe I'll make a list of that off stream. I don't want to get too fancy right now, but I want to have the possibility of it getting fancy later. I possibly need to update enemy information. It's right now all we have. Well, we do have attack, defense, and agility. So I can probably factor these in right now before I call it stream. Because I mean, player is going to level up and have like defense and all that. Dot defense plus player's armor divided by 4. As for incoming damage, I have to calculate that over here, or on the top layer. So, entity list 0 dot attack plus player weapon value divide by 2. Then we have all the later fun stuff in there. And that should allow me to start making monsters that have some base stats. I could even do funny things like have slime have a negative like 2 base stat. If, actually, no. If I'm going to do pity damage, that should be in here. Damage less than 1. And rand divided by 2. Damage equals 1. Actually, if rand mod 2 returns 0, just for plinks, one reason why is some effects go off on there. So if you plink with well, I forgot if Poison Needle was that it does any damage, or that it hits, it has a chance to instantly kill the enemy. Which speedrunners use. Mostly, you know, the whole... We have figured out the RNG and we will now play the human tasks. Which is truly a thing to watch. But yeah. Well, does it still compile? That is the question. You took 4 damage. One second. So, do entities default out of this? But the rounding should... Oh. Oh, it's not going to compile because this hasn't been close yet. But yeah, I should also really figure out what I'm doing with these streams and if I can do them every day, every, like, other day. Because I don't think I can really do I stream every day for 8 hours a time. I just don't think that's in me. Something's a bit off here. You did a power attack. I took 10 damage. That's expected. I took 4 damage, but I... Oh, wait. Wait. Do I still have that... No, let me just make sure that armor's zeroed out. Because if you remember, I put in the test sword in there because same data, but it had a 10. So anyways, boop, 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 boop. Excuse me for 1 second. Actually, it turns out it is the perfect time to quit, because I need to get involved in something right now. So, to sum up, going to try doing this at this time, like an hour or 2 hours, just to kind of push this along, see where it goes. Still going to do the Saturday streams to try and get model work done and all that, but yeah, unexpected things popped up at unexpected times, so I have to get something a little ready. Anyways, I will see you Saturday. Have a good rest of your day.